Alright, it's PLB with MLB News back with another video, and today's video going to be my MLB Awards Predictions. So if you like this kind of content, make sure to drop a like, subscribe, and turn on notifications so you get notified whenever I upload a video. Because I've put quite a lot of time into this video. This is literally like the 15th time saying that, and it's got very annoying at this point, and I'm just kind of sick of saying it. We're going to do all MLB, and we're going to predict after the finalists have been announced for the other awards. Yeah, leave a like, subscribe. I think a like is definitely worth it considering I filmed this intro or whatever you want to call it like 20 times. It's absurd. But I'm doing it for the video and hope you guys enjoy it. Let's go ahead and get into this video. Alrighty. So, AL finalist for Cy Young are Shane Bieber, Kenta Maeda, and Hyun-Jin Ryu. Now, I personally think Hyun-Jin Ryu goes in third place here. He had a good season this year. There's no doubt. He finished second in NL Cy Young last year. After leading the majors last year with a 2.32 ERA, he finishes in third place this year. He went 5-2 with a 2.69 ERA in 2020. And I think he pitched really good, and I think he was really good for the Toronto Blue Jays, but I just don't think he deserves Cy Young here. Coming in at second place is going to be Kenta Maeda, and I think he's one of those comeback players, definitely, and I think he's really good. He just didn't make the impact that the player in front of him did in Shane Bieber. Coming in at first place, like I said, Shane Bieber. He had a great season this year. 1.63 ERA. 8 wins. He was great. Like, I feel like it was just about what you could feel like a guaranteed win every time he went out there in 2020. And I think because of that, he definitely wins Cy Young. And I think it's pretty obvious. NL finalists are Bauer, Darvish, and Degrom. Coming in third place for me is going to be Yu Darvish of the Chicago Cubs. And the reason why he comes in third place is because he was dominant, nearly unhittable for a stretch of the season, going 7-0 with a 0.98 ERA. But then he just kind of he wasn't nearly as dominant over his next few outings, and he still finished with an 8-3 record with a 2.01 ERA. But you see how much that went up towards the second half of the season, you could say. That's why he comes in at third place. You've got to perform for the whole season to get a Cy Young. We're not talking about a 30-game Cy Young award, and because of that, that's why Yu Darvish doesn't win. Coming in at second place is going to be Jacob Degrom. Now, he has won back-to-back Cy Youngs in the NL. I just think the player in front of him deserves it more. And because of that, I'm going to obviously give it to the player that I think deserves it more. Jacob Degrom was on a bad Mets team this year. Should be a lot better next year with a new owner that's actually going to spend money, unlike the Wilpons. He had a great season, just not better than Trevor Bauer, who wins NL Cy Young in my predictions. He was great for the whole season. He was bad for the Reds in his half season with them last year, 2-5 with a 6.39 ERA. He finished 6th in AL Cy Young Award voting with Cleveland in 2018. But in 2020, he was great. He was coming up on a contract year, and he was great. He was really, really good. So, yeah, that's why he deserves MVP. It's pretty obvious. Especially with Luis Castillo not pitching well. He was supposed to be the ace in that rotation. He just wasn't. So, Trevor Bauer definitely, I think, deserves NL Cy Young. Next, for our NL finalists for Jackie Robinson Rookie of the Year, Alex Baum, Jake Cronenworth, and Devin Williams. Now, Alex Baum's going to come in third place. He did not play the whole season, and I think if he did play the whole season, he would probably win Rookie of the Year here. But he didn't, and because of that, I can't pick him to be the Rookie of the Year. Coming in second place is going to be Jake Cronenworth of the San Diego Padres. And I know this one seems a bit crazy, but I mean, I don't care because I feel like Jake Cronenworth just did not do as well as Devin Williams. And because of that, I'm obviously going to put him in second place. But Jake Cronenworth batted towards the end of the lineup. And he just didn't have the same productivity as Devin Williams, who comes in first place. He was great this season. Really, really good. This season. So I think Devin Williams deserves it. Next, let's go to the AL Cy Young finalist. Christian Javier of the Houston Trash Can Bangers, Kyle Lewis of the Seattle Mariners, and Luis Robert of the Chicago White Sox. Coming in at third place is going to be Christian Javier of the Houston Trash Can Bangers. I think this one's pretty obvious, even though he did make a pretty good impact to the team, considering they didn't have Greinke for some of the season and Verlander for the whole season pretty much. And I feel like he did do well this season. Obviously, to be in third place, but just not better than Kyle Lewis or Luis Robert. Coming in second place is going to be Luis Robert. He's really, really good, don't get me wrong. But I think Kyle Lewis was just better this season. We expected Luis Robert and Kyle Lewis both to be very good this season. And, I just felt like Kyle Lewis was a bit better than Luis Robert. I think it's also the fact that he was on a much better team, which made his impact a little less, what's the word? A little less visible, I guess you could say. He signed a 6-year, $50 million contract before the season even started, before he had even seen a pitch in Major League Baseball. So that's an obvious reason of why he's so good. But in first place is Kyle Lewis of the Seattle Mariners. Kyle Lewis is great in the field, plays a great center field. I just felt like he was a little bit better this season. I think for the future, Luis Robert is probably the better player. He was Seattle's first-round pick in the 2016 MLB draft. He was really good this season. Probably the MVP of the Seattle Mariners this season. And I did a video MVP for every MLB team. So if you haven't watched that, it should be on the end screen or in the description below. Manager of the Year, AL finalists are Kevin Cash, Charlie Montoya, and Rick Renteria. Coming in third place for me is going to be Rick Renteria. I feel like this is pretty obvious, and the reason for that is he wouldn't have got fired if he was a really good manager, right? He can't win Manager of the Year if he got fired. I'm just saying, he got fired. So he's obviously not that great of a manager, or he wouldn't have got fired. So, yeah. Coming in second place is going to be Charlie Montoya of the Toronto Blue Jays. Charlie Montoya was really good, but I feel like Kevin Cash was a little bit better. His team went farther in the playoffs. Blue Jays just simply did not look good in the playoffs. They were pretty terrible in the playoffs, honestly. They were playing a better Rays team, and they played the team that ended up going to the World Series and the Tampa Bay Rays. Obviously, they lost, but went to the World Series. Coming in first place is going to be Kevin Cash, and I said all season that he was the best manager in the league, and I do have to take into account his bad postseason. But I still think it gets him first place in this. I just feel like it does, and he did do some terrible moves in the postseason and made the worst manager decision in all of World Series history. I made a video on that. Link in the description below, or it'll be on the end screen. Either one, you can check it out. I would go to the description, but that's just me. All right. NL Manager of the Year finalists are Don Mattingly of the Miami Marlins, David Ross of the Chicago Cubs, and Jace Tingler. Coming in third place for me is going to be David Ross of the Chicago Cubs. And the reason why David Ross comes in third place is because I just don't think he was as good as the two other managers. One is another rookie manager in Jace Tingler, and I just feel like he could have. Obviously, he needed the supporting cast around him. He was really good, but just not better than the other two managers ahead of him. Coming in at second place is going to be Jace Tingler of the San Diego Padres. Jace Tingler was really good this season. He put all the pieces together, and he made a really good team, and just a really good team, and he had a great manager performance. He does not win Manager of the Year, but I feel like he probably will get a Manager of the Year or two coming up in the future. And coming in first place is going to be John Mattingly of the Miami Marlins. John Mattingly did a great job with the talent that he was given this season. And, I mean, John Mattingly was great this season. He, definitely his best manager performance ever. I think that's pretty simple to say. A team that was projected to be fifth place by many, including me, surprised everybody and ended up making the playoffs. It obviously makes sense in a weird 2020, but Don Mattingly was really, really good this season. And finally, MVPs. We're still going to do all MLB teams, though, so don't think the video's over yet. NL finalists are Mookie Betts, Freddie Freeman, and Manny Machado. Coming in at third place for me is going to be Manny Machado of the San Diego Padres. Manny Machado was really good this season, but when we're going for MVP, a player that just does not hustle, he literally just walks down the line, literally like he's in his own world, just his own little world. And I just don't think he deserves MVP, not a player like that. Coming in at second place is going to be Mookie Betts of the Los Angeles Dodgers. Mookie Betts was not even the best hitter on his own team in the 2020 MLB playoffs. That was Corey Seager. And I feel like teams in the 2020 MLB playoffs were more scared of Corey Seager than Mookie Betts. In the regular season, he changed the whole Dodgers team. They were so much better than they have been in previous years. But I feel like Freddie Freeman's just better. And coming in first place, winning the NL MVP finally is Freddie Freeman. I feel like he's been in the conversation for what seems like 5 years now. And I think this is the year that he finally wins it because he's the best first baseman in the league. He was great when Brian Snitker moved him to that number 2 hole. That was when he really was being even better. And next are the AL finalists. You've got Jose Abreu of the Chicago White Sox, DJ Mayhew of the New York Yankees, and Jose Ramirez of the Cleveland baseball team. And coming in third place for me is going to be Jose Abreu of the Chicago White Sox. And this one was a really tough one, in my opinion. And the reason for that is because all three of these players, I think, really have a legitimate chance of winning AL MVP, but I think Jose Abreu is going to come in third place for me. As good of a season as he did have, he comes in third place for me. Coming in at second place is going to be DJ LeMahieu of the New York Yankees. DJ LeMahieu had a great season this year. He was the best second baseman in all of baseball, without much question, I would say. He was really good, and the Yankees should try to keep him this offseason. And if you saw my offseason or my free agent predictions video, then you saw that I had him going to re-signing with the Yankees. In first place is going to be Jose Ramirez. Jose Ramirez, you could question whether he deserves it or not, and you probably have a pretty good case if he doesn't, but he was really good this season, and you can make the argument that maybe he was the best third baseman in baseball. I think that's a bit of a crazy take, but, if that's what you think, then go with it. I personally think that that's not a crazy prediction, and, yeah, I think that Jose Ramirez is going to finally finish in first place after finishing in third place 2 straight years. I think it's finally the year that he wins AL MVP. Now, let's go ahead and do my all MLB team predictions. At first base, we have Jose Abreu, Brandon Belt, Freddie Freeman, Paul Goldschmidt, Dominic Smith, and Luke Voigt. First player I'm going to roll off here is Brandon Belt. Fake season. Paul Goldschmidt's the next one I'm going to rule out. That's not any of his fault. It's because of Corona outbreak by that team. Just they didn't play as many games. Next one I'm going to rule out is going to be Luke Voigt. I know he led in home runs, but his productivity was just not the same as these other players. Dominic Smith is the next one. Jose Abreu is going to finish in second place, but finishing in first place is going to be Freddie Freeman of the Atlanta Braves. Unless you skipped the video, then you saw that I just predicted he would be NL MVP, and I think that's true. At second base is DJ LeMahieu of the New York Yankees. I feel like DJ LeMahieu was by far the best second baseman in all of baseball. Braden Lau is a strong case too. Robinson Cano's there too, but I feel like DJ LeMahieu was just the best one. Shortstop is a really stacked position. You've got Tim Anderson, Xander Bogaerts, even Jose Iglesias, Corey Seager, Dansby Swanson, Fernando Tatis, Trey Turner. I feel like Tatis has to go. I know he played great in the start of the season, but he fell off. Swanson, same. I think I'm going to go with my shortstop being Trey Turner of the Washington Nationals. Third base is kind of a tough one, but kind of not there too, because Jose Ramirez of Cleveland, and I think he's going to win it because I said he would win AL MVP, and yeah, I think he simply does. Manny Machado's at that position too, but Jose Ramirez wins it. Catcher, this is kind of another tough position for me. JT Realmuto, I don't think was the best catcher in the game this season. I think it's probably d'Arnaud or Salvador Perez. Salvador Perez, I think, brings a strong case, and I think I'll have to give it to him, even though he was on a terrible Royals team. Next, designated hitter. I'm not going to spend too much time on this one. We already know it's Marcell Ozuna of the Atlanta Braves. He had a great season this year. Another type of Josh Donaldson deal, like a 1 year, $15 to $20 million deal, and he performed great. So for my three outfielders, I'm going to go with Juan Soto of the Washington Nationals, who had a .351 average with 13 home runs and 37 RBIs. I'm going to go with Mike Trout, of course. He wasn't even in the top three for AL MVP voting this year, but it kind of evens out considering he's on a terrible team. Next one I'm going to go with is Mookie Betts of the LA Dodgers. Now for starting pitchers, I get to pick 5 starting pitchers. First one I'm going to go with is Shane Bieber and Trevor Bauer, the 2 Cy Youngs of the AL and NL respectively. Next, I'm going to go with Jacob Degrom, and I'm going to go with Kenta Maeda, the 2 second place finishes. And then in third place finishes, we had Darvish and we had Darvish and who else? I'm going to go with Darvish. It was... Oh my, who was it? I totally forgot. Oh, Hyun-Jin Ryu. Durr. I'm sorry that I totally forgot that one. But yeah, Yu Darvish definitely gets it over him. And finally, relief pitchers. You can pick up to 2. First one I'm going to go with is Nick Anderson. He had a great regular season, even though his postseason was not great. I think with a .55 ERA for a whole season, that's great. Next one I'm going to go with is Devin Williams of the Milwaukee Brewers. So yeah, that's my all MLB team. I'm going to quickly go over what I predicted. Freeman is first base. Second base, DJ LeMahieu. Shortstop, Trey Turner. Third base, Jose Ramirez. Catcher, Salvador Perez. Designated hitter, Marcell Ozuna. My 3 outfielders are Soto, Trout, and Betts. My 5 starting pitchers are Shane Bieber, Yu Darvish, Kenta Maeda, Jacob Degrom, and Trevor Bauer. And Nick Anderson and Devin Williams are my 2 relief pitchers. So that's my awards predictions. We did all the MLB team, and we looked at the finalists and gave my predictions. So if you enjoyed it, make sure you leave a like, subscribe, and turn on notifications to get notified whenever I upload a video. Link to my other channel in the description below. Yeah, thank you for watching, and I'll be back with more videos soon.